Hey everybody, welcome to Virtual Cycle. I'm Denise Druce. I want you to jump on your bike and get ready for a super fun ride. All right, just heading out on a flat road, easy resistance. Turning your pedals anywhere from, let's say 70 to 90 RPMs. Just enough to loosen things up. I'm glad you decided to take time to get a little sweaty with me today. Looking forward to this ride. I've been sitting and being kind of sedentary, and I need a workout, so glad you're joining me. I'm coming to you today from Next Level Athletics, and I'm really grateful that Carol and Joe let me use this space every week to teach these Zoom classes, and I'm super grateful that you are enjoying these rides too. So today's ride continues the tour of Utah. And in this ride, we go from Layton, Utah, which is northern Utah, to a city called Bountiful. In the real world, with the big riders, this would take 5 hours. It's 125 miles with 4,000 vertical feet covered. This is a super fun stretch of the tour of Utah because it's really easy for crowds to access this. So there are a lot of spectators, a lot of people cheering on the riders through most of this ride. So pretend with me that you have your fans lining the streets while you ride, encouraging you and cheering you on. So we'll continue these fast legs, just getting loosened up, keeping it easy. This ride really has 3 stages. The first stage is all flat. It's about 20 minutes of just easing in. We're not going to get too hard and too crazy for the first 20 minutes. Easy to moderate. A little bit of headwinds. We'll stand a little, but keep it easy for those first 20 minutes. You can consider it a nice long warm-up. Slow your legs to about 80 RPMs and get just a little bit of resistance on that wheel. Settle in. So this 20 minutes is kind of going to be a loop. We will leave Layton and we'll circle around and then we'll come back through Layton so the crowds that are there get to see us twice. And then we got a couple hills. In that second stage, we'll sprint back through the city and then we will climb 2 pretty steep hills. Pretty steep, quick down twice. Our third stage, we'll take 2 fast laps around Bountiful, and that will give us 2 more hills, 2 more little vertical ascents. So in total, this ride has 4 hills. Lots of sprinting, but an easy start. So as we head out, let's take care of the mechanics. We want to ride like these cyclists ride. So authentic cycling is important. We won't be doing anything today on this bike that those riders wouldn't do out there on a bike. We keep it true to the sport. We want this ride to be accessible to as many people as possible. So whether you're an elite cyclist, a soccer mom, a sedentary executive, a grocery store checker, this ride is for you because you're in charge of this knob right here. And you get to determine how hard or how easy this ride is. I I will be coaching you about positioning, about the cadence, the speed of your pedals, and about your head. But you're in charge of the most important thing, which is resistance, changing the intensity. All right, so we're starting to feel a little headwind. Our legs are going to slow down a bit more. Come down to about 65 RPMs. Get enough resistance on that you feel the pedals, but it's not too hard. And just settle in right there. If you reach back, I want you to find the back of your saddle and make sure that your hips are on the very back of the saddle. If you sit too far forward, you'll have a tendency to tuck under. Too far back, you'll have a tendency to arch your back. So we want those sitting bones, just like two pegs, right on that back widest part of the saddle. Once you feel that, once you're secure on the back of the saddle, you want to find this hip crease here in the front of your hips, and you want to fold forward there. So every time this leg comes up, there's a pinch right there in that crease. What that's going to do is it's going to create a little pressure on the pelvic floor. And if you're kind of new to this, that's uncomfortable, but I want you to just trust the positioning and the process. Because if you avoid that, if you kind of lift and tuck, you're going to put the rest of your torso, your back and your hips on a strain. And we really can work around that pressure. We do that by adding resistance and engaging our core, sitting light in the saddle. All right, so we got the hips set. We've got the pelvic floor light. Feel your low belly drawing in, so just below the navel, see if you can feel that belly firm. That's the support for your low back. Strong low abs support the low back. This nice little loop, gorgeous day. It's a little smoky here. Not quite blue sky because there's a lot of smoke from forest fires, unfortunately. That does make it a little harder to breathe. But the temperature is just right. We're in the 80s today. We've got our breath, we've got our strength, we've got our fellow riders with us. So from the hips, let's go down the body. Take a look at your knees. You want the femur bone coming from the hip to the knee to be nice and straight. Notice if those knees start to knock in or push out, and try to avoid that. See if you can keep those legs in a nice straight line, pointing in the direction of your toes. And if that's happening, your knees are going to be safe and aligned and really comfortable. There should be no strain around the knee joint here. Now, anytime you want to add resistance, when you feel like you're ready to just kick it, go ahead, or take resistance off a little. Try to never go down to zero, to no resistance. Try to always keep some on the wheel. Deep breaths, strong hips, relaxed knees. Good. So there's a little bit of headwind. We're going to keep that resistance on. This next song, we'll get out of the saddle a little bit more, give that pelvis a break. The music is a little bit slower, so let's just give it a touch of resistance on the wheel, about 60 RPMs. Ankles are relaxed. There's a little bit of movement in the ankle, but it's not intentional. It's just reacting to the pedal. You can feel the ball of your foot pressing into the pedal, and your toes can wiggle in your shoes. It's loose and relaxed. Be a little bit more on the wheel. Reach forward, stand and walk with me. So it's just like you're going for a walk. Not quite a jog yet. Just walking. Easy. Easy. The only reason we're standing right now is to give our hips a break, that pelvic floor. Give it a break. Work the muscles of the legs a little differently. You want your hips to be tapping the saddle, so you still have that crease in the hips. The tailbone is pointing straight back now. Feet on the pedals, toes loose. And you're breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. That low belly is drawn in, and that's the support for the low back. Drop those hips back to the saddle, find their place. You should start to get familiar with those two pegs, those two bones, sits bones, finding their place right there on the back of the saddle. The place where there's the most cushion, the widest part of the saddle. It's just ready to receive those sitting bones and support you. We're about 65 RPMs and we've got resistance on the wheel. I think we're closer to 60. My meter's not working right now, so it feels like 60. If you're feeling pretty good, give it a little more resistance. Challenge, not too much. You don't want to make it hard yet. Trust me, we're heading into hard. You're going to want to conserve your energy. Abs in nice and tight. So let's move up now. Draw the navel toward the spine, but try to avoid this rounding. So navel to spine, it's more like you're tucking in around your waist and feeling narrow, but also tall. Chest is lifted forward, shoulder blades on your back. Maybe a little curve in your low back as you lift your chin, lift your chest. You're breathing into the nose, out through the mouth. Starting to feel a little bit like work. Too hard. Not too easy. Good. We're in there. Let's get up one more time. Hips tap the saddle. Chest stays lifted. And then just really try and relax your upper body. Shoulders relaxed, elbows relaxed, hands relaxed, neck relaxed, even face, jaw. No tension at all in the upper body. Relax and enjoy your sorrow, 'cause I am your boy. Baby, have a seat. Do you what I say? It's crazy. Don't you need this pedals, staying strong. We We have one more song in this first stage. It's flat road. A little bit faster. 65 now. And give me just a little bit more resistance on the wheel. After this, we jump into that second stage, and we start that stage with a sprint. So, I need to get ready for that. All right? You can almost feel the urgency. Like these riders know they're headed back into the city of Layton where they're going to see their fans a second time. And this sprint, those crowds, they didn't really get excited about it. That was boring. But they are excited when they see these guys coming back. Furious. So, speed it up. Get ahead of the beat just a little bit. Start to feel that in your legs. It's something that feels a little bit uncomfortable, but it's a place that you can stay for a few seconds. Hold it. Hold that pace. 4, 3, 2, slow back to your music. Practice to perform. Practice to show those crowds what they came to see. Core still engaged. Spine is still tall. Those hips are placed. Right in their place. Right in their pockets. Alright, speed it up again. Get ahead of the beat. Give it a little pounding. Feel that discomfort. Leaving that easy and moderate zone and starting to head towards hard work. Warming up for our audience, warming up for our fans. Hold your cadence for 4, 3, 2, and then slow it down again. Woo! Getting warm, huh? Oh yeah. Almost made it to our easy stuff. We're gonna head into our hard stuff. So in this second stage, we do have 2 hills. And we are going to do these hills with a sprint mentality, which means there's drive, there's force, there's effort. We're not just climbing slow. We are sprinting against an incline. We're in a hurry. We've got fans watching us, and they want to see the muscles in our legs. So, gotta be ready for that. Got one more little practice sprint before we start to head into the city of Layton and our fans. Relax that upper body again. Tension will only take away from your legs and the work they have to do. Everything is loose. Muscles are strong. Ready, set, accelerate. Push against that resistance. This is practice. This is practice. Come on. Breathe deep. 4, 3, 2, and slow the legs. All right, that completes stage 1. Easy will be left behind until we get to cool down now. No more easy. It's moderate, hard to breathless from here on out. You should be ready. The knob is yours anytime you need it for up or down. Are What do you say, team? Got this? All right. Here we go. All right, there's our beat, there's our cadence. It's about 65 RPMs. I want you to put resistance on the wheels. And I want you to imagine an incline. All right, this incline lasts just under 5 minutes. And we're attacking this incline. We're serious. Our fans are watching now. And we are intentional about every single pedal stroke. It's not just a climb. See if you can see the difference in my body. If I'm just climbing, my upper body's really loose and settled, and my legs are turning. Now see if you can see what happens when I start to attack the pedals. You see that? That force. Every single pedal stroke, I'm really pushing extra forward. My body leans very slightly side to side to give me that strength in the pedal stroke. I want to feel as if this bike, this stationary bike, is moving forward in space. It's as if it were a real bike. I want you to really feel that aggression, that intensity, that effort to move forward. Come on. There we go. Get on those pedals. Best effort. Attacking this incline. It's helpful to visualize while we're climbing. So do me a favor and now close your eyes. Stay with that aggression. I want you to think of the imagery of planting a seed in the ground. Just think of that. In the spring, we put seeds in the ground. In the fall, we put bulbs in the earth. And I want you to just think about that, what it looks like when you put a seed into soil. And then imagine healthy soil, water, and sunlight encourage that seed to break open and to start to sprout. Part of that seed sprouts roots. Part of that seed sprouts a stalk. And part of that seed sprouts leaves or petals or fruit or vegetable. Sometimes seeds are weeds, right? As you get aggressive on these pedals, I'd like you to consider your garden. The garden that is your life. You actually started as a seed, right? Now you're this amazing living organism. Okay, so along the way, people have been planting seeds in your mind, thoughts, suggestions, words, beliefs, teachings that have taken root and grown. Some are flowers, some are fruit, some are weeds. As we climb this hill, I just want you to kind of look back. Just look back there and consider what seeds were planted that you've been watering that are serving you. Someone somewhere along the line told you that you could do anything. You believed it, and you water that seed, and you challenge yourself, and you keep growing that seed, right? Whew. Pushing to the top of this hill. Almost there. Almost there. Whew. Come on, come on. Start to Drop the resistance. Pedal a little bit easier. We're going downhill. Going downhill. All right, so what seeds were planted in you that you water that are helpful seeds? The belief in education, that you can, that to be educated makes you a more successful or effective person, or confident. What are the good seeds? Another way to look at that is, what are your greatest strengths? Because those all started as a seed somewhere. An example for me, to give you an example, is I have a lot of leadership qualities. I'm a good leader. And I've been that way literally my whole life. I was the oldest child. And I don't think a day went by that someone in my life wasn't telling me how good I was at being in charge. And a lot of that was gratitude from my parents and grandparents for the help that I gave them. And so it was really emphasized. That seed was planted. You are a leader. You're in charge. You're organized. You're dependable. You're responsible. And so those seeds got watered. And they got watered at first by the people around me, but then I started to believe them. And now, 57 years into this game called life, I still water those. I still believe those to be true. And I'm constantly doing things to cultivate those traits, to be better at those things. So that's just an example of how a seed gets planted, and then it gets watered, and then you water it. So what are your strengths, and how are you cultivating those? How are you continuing to grow in those areas? Reading, learning, practicing, writing perhaps is a way of self-study for you, pushing envelopes and reinforcing strengths. So, if that's true, and I strongly believe it is, it's also possible that we could plant seeds now that we want to cultivate to grow a strength in our life that doesn't already exist. What if I decide I want to be a strong and influential public speaker? Well, I start by planting that seed. The suggestion, the affirmation, I am a strong and influential public speaker. Might not start out as true, so we water it, right? We water that seed with books, with podcasts, with surrounding ourselves with people, with good coaches, with positivity and self-talk. And we continue to water and water that seed. And then one day we find ourselves on a stage being influential. That seed grew, and now it's part of our garden. What seed would you like to plant today to create a strength in your garden? Maybe you want to be punctual, or you want to gain some knowledge or skill, grow in confidence or self-love. Maybe you want to just be a better listener or something creative. Plant a seed right now. Plant a seed right now that you want to grow in your life. The seed I want to plant right now, the seed I'm planting right now is, I trust in abundance. I trust in the abundance of life. Hill number 2. We're going to slow our legs. And let's find that strong resistance. Hips on the back of the saddle. And we got to get aggressive again. Our fans are watching. Give me more gear. Make this challenging. Let's let this be the steepest and hardest hill of the day right here. It's about 5 minutes, under 5 minutes, about 4 minutes long. More resistance if you can. Really feel your legs. You'll be getting out of the saddle, so you're going to have your body weight to help you. Strong core. Ready? Stand up. Let's get it. All right, here we go. Push on those pedals. Get aggressive. You can go faster than the beat if you like it. That seed you just planted, water it. Water it with affirmations, positive reinforcement. I'm going to get there and hope we will meet there. Breath, strength, courage, power. Tailbone points back, belly lengthens, navel to spine. Get aggressive on those pedals. Whew. Hard hill. Spectators watching. Hear the cheers. Have a seat. Stay strong on those pedals though, don't let it go. Don't get too easy. Woo. Push through. Come on. Water that seed. Show yourself right now that what you just planted can take roots. So mine is an example. I trust in abundance. Right now, I'm going to tell myself there is plenty of energy. I have plenty of energy right now. There is no lack. There is only energy. There is only strength and endurance. There's plenty of oxygen to take in right now. A little more gear. Stand up. There is an abundance of time. Plenty of time. I have energy and I have time. And money. There is an abundance of wealth to go around. There is no lack. There is only abundance. Stay strong on those pedals. Aggressive to the top. Abs are strong, shoulders relaxed. Water your seed. Have a seed. Stay strong right here. Drop a little bit of resistance. Speed up your legs. Let's go down. Backside. So leaving Layton, headed south, flat road, heading toward Bountiful, where we have 2 short and steep hills. So this is your downhill, this is your flat. Pedal it out. Breathe your breath. Relax your upper body. So let's take a look while we're on this stretch of road. You might just close your eyes again. What are one or two of the weeds in your life? A belief that is choking out the ability of one of those healthy, positive seeds. Weeds are self-doubt, self-criticism, self-judgment, perfectionism, being really hard on ourselves, rigidity. Those are weeds, and they choke out the good plants. So, like any good gardener, you got to pull those weeds. And to pull the weeds, we might need to look at how those weeds got planted and took root in the first place. Come on. Keep the legs fast. Keep them fast. So let's see, maybe someone planted them. Maybe somewhere along the line you were young and someone said, you can't do that. You're not smart enough. You're not rich enough. You didn't come from the right family. You're too tall. You're too short. You're the wrong color for that, or gender. Fill in the blank. You're too whatever, or you're not enough whatever. Those weeds could have come from someone well-meaning in your life who was trying to protect you from hurt or failure. Those weeds could have come from another individual who was in pain. Think of the bully on the playground, or the mean girl in junior high that deep down felt bad about themselves, and so the only way they could deal with that was deflecting, drawing attention to you. Well, so that's where it came from, but then those weeds got watered. Those weeds were allowed to stay in the garden, and they got reinforced. It makes me emotional to think of how many weeds we allow to choke out our beautiful gardens. The belief that we're not enough. The belief that we continue to have as adults that you're too fill in the blank or not enough fill in the blank. And it's just not true. They're weeds, and they've got to go. They've got to go. So put on your gloves. Put on your gardening gloves. Grab a hold of one of those weeds right now and pull it the freak out of the dirt. Come on. Gear on. Faster legs. Let's go. Do some digging. Get rid of just one. Just one. Pull it out. Pull it out by the roots. And as soon as it's out, look at that space created for new growth, for flowers to bloom and plants to thrive. We pull that weed by acknowledging that it was not true in the first place, and it's not true now. Come on, come on, come on. Stay aggressive. Stay powerful. Stay strong. Whew. That's work. Okay. We are headed into stage 3. Do me a favor though, don't touch that resistance. Just slow your legs. We have 9 miles remaining in this ride. We're going to take 2 laps around Bountiful, and we're done. The lap starts on a hill, comes down, we'll do it again, come down. They're short, take us less than 10 minutes to do these 2 laps, and then we are on our way. All right, settle in at 75 RPMs. Close your eyes. Be on this hill. It's only a couple of minutes. You don't have to be so aggressive. Just climb this one. Just climb. Just stay with me at 75 RPMs with good resistance on the wheel. Now, any good gardener will tell you that you can pull a weed, but they keep coming back. They keep coming back. I don't know how, but they keep coming back. So that might not be the last you see of that weed that you just pulled out by the roots. But if we stay on top of it and we pull the weeds when they're small, they don't overgrow and choke out our garden. So we're just gonna keep our eyes open now for the hint of that to come back. And it usually comes back in times of challenge or struggle. Like when we're asked to speak in front of people or try something new or get out of comfort zone, that's when they creep back in. We're just gonna notice, oh, there it is again. There's that weed. So I want to teach you a little trick that I do. So we grab that weed like this and we pulled, but now when they're small, you just get them with your fingers. And so when you see or hear those weeds starting to come back in, you're just gonna go like this. You're gonna put your fingers together and just go like that. Physically, like, nope, not taking root today. Just like that, boom, not today. My garden grows. And then you can go on and find another weed. What seeds have been planted that you want to continue to water? What weeds have been planted that you want to get rid of? And what seeds are you planting right now in their place so your garden can thrive? We are almost to the top of this first little hill. I'd like you to keep your 75 for me. Hands come forward. Let's stand up. Let's jog. We're going over the crest of the hill and tapering back down. That will be our first lap around Bountiful. Whew. This should feel like fun work more than hard work. Nice. Stay with it. Stay with it. And lower your hips. There we go. Keep your 75. Woo. You can drop a little resistance as if you're going downhill. Breathe in, breathe out. One more little hill in front of us, one final loop around Bountiful. Relax your fingers, your toes. Feels good. To breathe deep and sweat, doesn't it? Life is good in the garden. Life is good in the garden. All right, we're gonna do that again. One more loop, 4.5 miles, halfway up, and halfway down. Or half of this loop is up, half of this loop is down, and then we're cooling down. That's it. We've got 5 more minutes and we'll be stretching. Try to find something closer to 80 RPMs for this and add that resistance back in, please. I'm gonna ride hard for a couple more minutes, climbing with aggression. Planting good seeds, pulling out the weeds. These seeds start as thoughts, and they turn into our beliefs and our actions, and they shape our life. So what are you watering and what are you pulling out? Let's take a broader view and look at the seeds that then we are planting in the world. We all understand about pollination, right? What seeds are coming from our garden out into the world when the wind blows through us? Do the seeds that come out of us plant beautiful plants and flowers and fruit? Or when the wind blows, do we scatter more weeds, more negativity, more darkness? Let's make sure that what comes from our garden is healthy and green and vibrant and life-giving. And we can only do that when we tend to our garden. We tend to our own garden. You've got 30 more seconds to the top of this one, so push a little harder, go faster. At least 80 RPMs with resistance. Come on. Push, push, push. Go, go, go. 3, 2, 1. Drop resistance. Woo, take it back to easy. Going downhill. Relax. We did it. We made it. Layton to Bountiful course of the tour of Utah. So good. This ride can plant a seed in us of confidence of I did it. I did that. I wonder what else is possible. This ride for you was a seed of integrity. You put it on the calendar and said, I'm going to do this ride. And you showed up, and you did it, and you stayed with it. That's a point for your integrity. You're a person who does what you say you will do. That's a good seed. And you plant that seed every day, and I promise you, whatever you want in your life is yours. Key there is consistency, right? Keep planting, keep planting, keep planting. Show up, water your garden. Oh my goodness, friends, that sound is the sound of a cool down song. So take your resistance all the way off and slow your legs. Sit tall. Sit tall. Slow your legs down. Reach your arms up. Stretch as tall as you can, maybe back a little bit and then down and back. Do that a few times with a little bit of a swing. We'll hold the arms behind. You can grab your hands, if you like, grab a sweat towel or the back of your saddle and just stretch out your chest and shoulders. Your legs can flow or stop. So at the time of this class, it's end of summer, and everyone who has planted a real garden is now enjoying fresh tomatoes and zucchini and onions and peppers and carrots, herbs. Go ahead and press your hips back. And sharing the bounty with friends and family. There's an abundance. So my hope for all of us as we leave this ride with that image in our mind of just the fruits of our labor, what we're tending to and what we're growing in our life's garden. Switch feet, calves, and hamstrings. So my challenge for you today is, as you leave this ride, the very next person you see, plant a good seed. Could be a stranger. Like right now, I looked out the window and a city bus went by and I saw the bus driver. I'm just going to plant a good seed and wish him wellness, health, and happiness. I put that good seed out into the world. Go ahead and unclip. Take one leg and just swing it. The next in person I see, I might give them a genuine smile, a word of encouragement, a sincere request of how they're doing. I might offer something. Let's plant good seeds. Crossover. Heaven knows there are enough weeds right now in the news, in our politics. Too many weeds. We don't need to contribute to that. We're the gardeners. Switch sides. And hold that leg back. Find your quads, your hip flexors. Thank you for joining me today, for taking this time to take care of yourself, for planting some good seeds. We'll sweat, crossover, have a seat. And bring yourself up to standing. Take your arms all the way up and back. Give yourself a big reach tall. One wrist up and over. Some space back in your body. And switch. And as you lower your arms, stand tall. And I want to plant this seed for you today. You are amazing. You're perfect just the way you are. You are enough. Have an amazing day.